So Chuck, we're going to talk about standard pile mount today. There's a ton of different options as far as standard pile mounts go. Can you go into sort of the configuration and what's available for people in
Absolutely.
this lift?
So our standard pile mount, which you see right here on the screen, is kind of one of our most versatile configured lifts that we produce. It basically starts at the low end of a 6,000 pound range and goes up to 25,000 pounds is kind of the max that we can get out of that two motor setup. So based on that, your 6,000 pounds to your 12,000 pound range, that is in a standard footprint of 12 foot wide by 12 foot long. So theoretically, any boat up to, I think it's a 10'6" beam will fit in that lift system up to, say, 12,000 pounds. Now with that, as you can see on the screen there, we can configure it with a beam rail setup, which that's what's in the middle picture. It can be configured for pontoon or tri-toon, which is down in the lower right. It's really a great versatile system for if you're on the lake. They can be set up high so that in storm and wave action, the boat can get 4 to 6 foot above water level. You could go even higher, depending on what you want to see. If you're in a canal setting, we can set those rail systems down, so that you've got maybe a 8 to a 10-inch step, and then it's kind of low profile, right? You don't see a lot of the lift behind the house. All you really see is your boat. Now, this particular setup that you got right there, we went a little bit higher than normal, and if you can kind of see it on the left there. There's a white 3-step fiberglass box that walks up, and we configured a hand grab rail so that the owner could walk up, step onto the top of the rail system, and then as another option as well, we deck that with aluminum diamond plate. So it's configured and cut to cover over top. So it's twofold. It protects the lift, but it also gives you a flat walking surface that you can run up and down both sides of the boat. So if you've got a cover that's kind of a pain to get on, you can access the outside of the boat easily from either side of the lift.
And is that why you install so many of these, Chuck? Because it is so versatile, it can accommodate tri-toons.
Pretty much, yeah, right. So the Lake St. Clair is kind of going more to your pontoons, your center consoles, your small day boat type of boaters. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still lots of big boaters, and these lifts can be configured to pick up the 30 and 35 foot formulas, Sea Rays, any bigger, more than just a day boat, right? They can be configured once you get up at over that 12,000 pound mark. Then the footprint increases and goes from a 14 foot left to right to it's a 14 foot left to right and 16 foot front to back versus the 12 by 12. So now a boat with a 12 foot or a 13 foot beam can fit into that lift and be lifted, same kind of deal. Up high to get it out of the water, way above the dock. So if you're on the river, you're on the lake, and everybody knows the weekends are rough. There's storms that come in, the boat's lifted safely up above where the wave action could do any potential damage, knocking the boat off or anything like that.
Got it. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a ton of options, right? Like that's why, a knowledgeable consumer is a great one to have, right? So that's why it's so important to go over, this is just one option that you guys install, advanced pile mounts, side lifters, whatever. And it's great to have these conversations with people so that they're educated on what's available to them.
Absolutely. And the nice part about like let's say that standard footprint of the 12 by 12 starting at 6,000 pound range. So these systems are probably our most economical lifts to get into, right? So your first time boaters, these lifts can be modified, they can be upgraded. So let's say your budget right now, you can handle 8,000 pounds. We put that system in 2 to 4 years. Most boaters get that 2 foot itis where they got to buy something just a little bigger, right? So that system now as long as the width of the new boat stays in that range of that 10'6", we can change the motor, change the gearbox, or change the cradles, and realistically go from that 6 or 8,000 pound. We can now jump up to a 10 or 12,000 pound, at a third the cost of a brand new lift. But yet you still have the foundation and the bones of the system, and now they can be modified, upgraded. We can put those through flow walkways we've talked about in the past and shown, to give you access on the side of the boat. It really can be configured in lots of different ways, and if you're in a canal system, you want, let's say, a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, right? So the DEQ will permit us 20% of whatever the canal width is. So even if you only have, just a single boat and you live on a canal that's a much wider canal, we can extend that footprint, do a little more of a custom style lift, make it wider. Now, if you got a couple jet skis, you can throw a couple jet skis on the outside of your boat. You can throw a couple of through flow platforms out there, give yourself a little swim deck. Most of our lifts are designed so that it gives you lots of functionality and adjustability for now all the way through your boating career.
And we live in the Algonac area, Clay Township area, and you see these posted lifts all over the place, right? I think
Correct.
back in the day, you had a lot of side mount stuff that was attached to the seawall, but these canals are wide, right? They're, free flowing, and you see a lot of these setups, and they're great because they're so versatile. And like you said, you can change them out later, and also in open water, you get them up high, get everything out, from the danger of being in the open water.
Keeps everything safe, and let's say you start out as a pontoon owner and you have that for 4 or 5 years, you sell the pontoon, now you go to a center console. That system literally can be unbolted and beam rails bolted in place, and now you've taken that lift from the tri-tune to say a mid-20s center console. Very, very easily can be modified and changed.